Just wait. The host of Get Business Credit YouTube channel is about to go live on YouTube Cast to answer all your business credit building questions. Our host, Joshua Van Horn, is here for you during these tough times. But together, as we unite as one, we will get through this and build and rebuild business credit. Subscribe and hit the bell notification if you haven't already done so. Josh is about to take YouTube by storm, and you don't want to miss what's coming. Just wait. The host of Get Business Credit YouTube channel is about to go live on YouTube Cast to answer all your business credit building questions. Our host, Joshua Van Horn, is here for you during these tough times. But together, as we unite as one, we will get through this and build and rebuild business credit. Subscribe and hit the bell notification if you haven't already done so. Josh is about to take YouTube by storm, and you don't want to miss what's coming.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? Can you guys hear me? GBC family, can you guys hear me okay? You guys put a number 1 in the chat section, the live chat section, if you guys can hear me okay, or do I need to turn up my audio because I'm using a new mic? Just give a few minutes for people to come in. You guys can hear me okay? Do I need to turn the volume up or down, or is it okay? All right, so much to cover this evening. Okay. All right, you guys put in the chat section wherever you guys are calling from, or I shouldn't say calling from, but where you guys are from. Let me adjust my camera. You guys, sorry, I'm just setting up a new studio here. All right, a couple more minutes and we'll get started. While we're waiting for other people to come in, if you guys can just kind of put any questions about business credit that you guys may have, I'll answer those momentarily. There's so much that we're covering. I'm going to be covering, the main reason I wanted to do this live, I guess, is to, I don't want to say expose, but give a chance for these wannabe business credit channels out there, a couple in particular, to delete recent content that they put up that is complete, not just misinformation, but intentional lies to misinform you guys or anybody searching about anything to do with business credit. And it's unfortunate. You would think that over the years, the mix of information would get less and less. But what I've seen and what I've noticed the last couple of years, it's getting increased. So people are making these clickbait thumbnails and they're just saying like $20,000 Sam's Club, no PG, business, credit card, EIN only, approval and whatnot. And it's complete lies. Not just what they're saying, but they even had the nerve to say because I'm not going to mention the channel by name. I'm going to give them a chance to, take down the content. But saying basically American Express, Amazon Prime card is an EIN only, no personal guarantee. That's BS completely. American Express doesn't do anything that's no PG, period. And I shouldn't let it bother me, other people's content, but it does, because I get contacted left and right daily, 20, 30 messages a day. People telling me, not just my students, my one-on-one business credit mentorship students, but my subscribers and other people that just happen to see the content. They reach out and they're like, such and such channel saying that American Express offers a Amazon Prime invite only business credit line. No, they don't. They never have. That doesn't even make any sense. American Express does not offer any business credit line with Amazon that is EIN only. They have the Amazon Prime card, and it's not invite only. Anybody can apply for it, business or personal, using your social security number. Yeah, you're not going to get a hard pull if you already have an American Express account, any card you have. But it's so misleading. So, like, this content creator does credit repair or something, personal credit repair, and then they realize that the business credit niche is higher ad revenue on YouTube. So then they start doing all these clickbait, just like the Navy Federal, the Sam's Club, all this. But they don't even have the cards. You can see here, I actually have the cards, but they don't even have the cards. And they're giving you like glass half full information. There's only about 1% truth to what they're telling you. And that's the part that really irritates me. And then they push in these starter vendors that you need to pay like $99 to get this Summa Office Supplies, Crown Office Supplies, Strategic Network Solutions, that lost their data furnishing license, that do not report to any of the bureaus. And the ones, some of those starter vendors that they do charge a fee up front, technically they're not allowed to charge a fee up front because it's against data furnishing policies with the bureaus, because you're not paying for an actual trade line, rather than like, there's NAV, Fair Figure, and eCredible. Those are okay because you're actually paying for a business credit monitoring service. So there's nothing breaking any compliance or anything with the Business Credit Bureau's terms and conditions and policies. But when you have, say, Summa Office Supplies, Strategic Network Solutions, and a dozen others, I don't even want to mention anybody else because I don't want to give them any credit and push them any further. But basically, you're paying $99 or $79 for a credit line. And a lot of you guys don't realize this, but credit lines aren't actually given to the business credit bureaus, especially with the Metro 2 format. I know this because I'm a data furnisher. So anybody that's on my one-on-one business credit mentorship, I report to Equifax and CreditSafe. So let me jump over here real quick just to kind of show you guys on the report. So anytime you get like a starter vendor or any of these net 30s or whatever that claim to help you build business credit or whatever, if their whole site is all about net 30 and they're stressing out net 30 build business credit, that's a red flag. 9 out of 10 times, run as far as you can away from them. Close that site. Don't give them a dime. They're overcharging you for the items anyways. It's probably some guy or some girl that's living in the basement of their parents' house that was a viewer watching business credit videos and was like, oh, I'm gonna start a net 30 office supply company. All they do basically is, like, business credit is not federally regulated, so essentially, and I don't want to give you guys ideas because I know there's some scammers probably watching me right now or going to be watching this replay when I end the stream. But essentially, anybody could put $100 website up, get off Fiverr, Shopify store, and just put like 30 or 40 Amazon products on there. Just like copy and paste and put it up there. And then like say 100 Bic pens on Amazon is like $7. And then XYZ office supply is selling it for like $48 for 100 Bic pens or $30. It's just greatly overpriced what they're offering. And then on top of that, they're charging you like a membership fee, and they get you excited about it because they're like, oh, I'm going to give you $10,000. You're approved for $10,000 business credit line for a bunch of garbage that's overpriced that they're selling. It's either stuff they bought at the dollar store, Dollar General, that they're just shipping you, or they're just doing a drop shipping with their Amazon Prime account and doing it as a gift, because anybody can do that, where it's there's no Amazon label on it. There's no Amazon tape or anything on it. So it's just a brown box, they call it. Excuse me. So essentially, when you pay that $99 or $89 for that credit line of $10,000 for XYZ office supply, and then they tell you, okay, you have to place an order to create the invoice to get the business credit trade line starting to report, and then at 30 or whatever. So then you buy a bunch of garbage or a bunch of junk, batteries that are like 10 years old that are expired or whatever. And it's like not just a little overpriced. Like, I don't have a problem with some of these starter vendors that are not charging fees up front. The ones that don't charge fees up front, those are okay. Or if they charge a minimal fee, like $20 or something, I understand it, especially if I've already vetted them out. But when they sit there and charge like 10 times over the actual price that you could buy it for locally, and they're charging you like $100 or $80 fee, just like these t-shirt companies. I get they don't want to take a risk on like scammers out there, because there is a lot of crooked scammers out there that just get free merchandise, right? That happens all the time. So I get there's a risk part that maybe you need to pay a partial upfront payment or something. But don't sit there and just rip people off. You know, so if you're going to get the 10 t-shirts or 10 screen print company t-shirts and they charge you $20 each, then okay, that's fine. And they charge a deposit or something, that's fine. But what I really want you guys to understand, that I really don't want to mention any names in this live because I don't want to deal with legal issues, but anybody that wants kind of a recap of this whole entire live, along with like the instructions that I'm going to give you guys throughout this live, the links, instructions, what I want you guys to sign up for, that's going to help you build business credit up regardless of your current situation, established or not established. Especially for those that can't afford my one-on-one business credit mentorship, you guys can just email me at support@joshvanhorn.com and I'll email you back a PDF file. Just in the email, just put requesting the free PDF, and I'll kind of break down what I covered in this live tonight along with the links, and that's going to help you. But I'm telling you guys a lot of things up front ahead of time. But back to what basically I was saying. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I got my laptop over here, my screen's over here. I took so many notes because this really wasn't a planned live. My blood pressure got up a couple hours ago when a couple of my students are sending me these videos, and I'm seeing these fellow business credit gurus that all of a sudden they're getting 20, 30,000 views for a video that they released a day or two ago. Yet they don't have that many subscribers, but they're getting all that viewers clickbait because they're telling you a bunch of lies. You guys notice about my videos, I don't sugarcoat things. Like, you know, I don't care really about the views. I just want honesty and transparent put out there. There's not many people out there in any space really that does that. But I guess we'll cover one thing at a time. Structure this. Anybody interested in getting the Sam's Club, no PG business, EIN only MasterCard? There is a way, but they have recently changed where it is personally guaranteed required. However, there's ways to go about it where you're not going to go hard inquiry on your personal credit, even though it is personally guaranteed. But you need to have a good, solid, experienced business credit profile. And ideally, you need to have at least 1 to 2 small business financial exchange trades reporting. And you only need to have 90 days. So a new business could still get approved for a $10,000 Sam's Club No PG Business MasterCard. And when I say no PG, it could still be no PG depending on your profile. But if you're a brand new business and you don't have any business credit built up, it's still going to be a personally guaranteed now. However, there are strategies and ways that I'm not going to really discuss on this live because they're just going to rip off the content, you know, ruin it for everybody else. But there are ways that basically it's where you're not going to get the hard pull on your Experian personal credit. But your personal credit is going to be a factor regardless. And that's what I'm going to kind of cover on this, give you guys some tips. If you are in a bad situation on the personal credit side or less than perfect personal credit, and you're working on trying to improve it, that's fine. I'm going to show you how you can get into American Express, start nurturing that relationship with American Express. It's kind of a soft relationship. I'm going to show you guys how to get that interbanking relationship with American Express for business and personal, even if you have a 550 personal FICO score and you have drugatories. I'm going to show you how to do that. I can't tell you exactly when you're going to be able to start getting all the approvals with American Express, but I can tell you if you're consistent with fixing your personal credit, then you could potentially do this one step tonight, and 2 to 6 months from now, you could have like all these American Express cards, you know. I'm not going to say you're going to get the black invite only card like I have, but you know. So anyways, I'm going to go over all this. Sorry, I have ADHD and I'm kind of all over the place. I get flustered when there's these content creators that are putting out nonsense. So, excuse me. All right. Hang on one second. Let me go to my notes here. So in short, let's set the record straight. Now, as of last month, even though people were talking about it before, but as of March 4th, 2025, Synchrony Bank, Synchrony Financial, as the underwriter for Sam's Club Business MasterCard and Sam's Club Business Store Card. You can get both. But as of March 4th, 2025, it is personally guaranteed required. So let's set the record straight. So if you see any YouTube videos or anybody trying to tell you that it's no PG, I might say that several times, just because I'm so used to saying it for 10 years, but it's personally guaranteed. Okay. Now, case closed. Now, does personally guarantee mean that you're going to get a hard inquiry on your personal credit? No, there's ways around that. Does it mean you have to have good personal credit to get the Sam's Club Net PG? See, like I said, no PG Business MasterCard. I'm so stuck of saying it for 10 years. But does it mean that you have to have good personal credit to get the Sam's Club Business MasterCard or Business Store Card? No. In fact, I suggest everybody that's trying to build business credit up to, if you get approved for, say, the MasterCard, apply also for the store card a couple weeks later or after one billing cycle, because that's going to report two separate Synchrony trade lines to Experian. And actually, the store card reports not only to Experian, but it reports to Dun & Bradstreet as well. But both of those two report to Experian. The MasterCard version also reports to the Small Business Financial Exchange. So in a sense, you're getting possibly 4 trade lines across 2 bureaus and then the exchange. And I know it can be a little bit confusing, but you guys just one step at a time. But again, I'm going to repeat it again because people are just tuning in. I'm seeing people come in. But these hacks, putting in that your business was 2020, 2000 or prior, like you started your business in 1999 or 2000, that's the hack, the secret hack. That's BS. Anybody, I would pull up it right now, but I don't want to get any issues with Synchrony because I have a relationship with them, because I often promote them, as you guys are well aware of that. But their application on that, there's all this misinformation being put out there by a dozen different credit and business credit so-called experts in the last month or so. Clickbait saying that you just have to put in that your business is, even if it's brand new, you just registered your LLC last month, but on the application, just put that your business is basically 25 years old, and then it's not going to ask for a social security number. Okay, so let's get something straight about the whole social security number. It doesn't matter what type of business credit account, you're going to have to always provide the beneficial owner's social security number. It's going to be required at all times. Even let's see here. Even like JT Penney's or Lowe's or ConocoPhillips, it's no PG, it's net 55, right? Okay. That still requires my social security number, the beneficial owner's information. It's part of the Patriot Act since 9/11. It's not just that, but it's intercommerce as well. The ConocoPhillips, the only no PG revolving gas card. I wouldn't suggest revolving it because it's like 26% for everybody, but it's also underwritten through Synchrony. Also requires you to give your social security number. So any financial institution is going to require you to give your social security number as the business owner's information. They're not checking it on your personal credit at all unless you click the button that says, I am willing to personally guarantee. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a cough. But always look at the bottom of the application. You're going to see where it says, with all the Synchrony applications, you're going to see like Floor and Decor, all this. You're going to see where it says I am willing to personally guarantee, or I am not willing to. If you check I am not willing to, then it's going to gray out the personally guaranteed part where you're going to have to put in the social security number. In fact, let me show you guys this, since I should probably just show you guys the application, so you guys have an idea what I'm talking about. Because in the past, people will like send me a message like, oh, it's asking me for my social security number. It's personally guaranteed. Why are they asking for that? Well, you shouldn't have a problem giving your social security number if you're a really honest business person. I understand you want to separate the liability. I get that. No problem with that. However, you shouldn't be afraid to give your social security number, even if you have a 400 FICO score. It's not a problem. So let me go over and do a search here. Okay. I don't know if it's going to show it or not because I have a VPN, or I don't have a VPN hooked up right now. Okay, good. It's here. Okay. So you guys can see that it looks just like the Lowe's for Pros application, business credit application. Okay. It's also no PG. As you can see here, the JCPenney's commercial charge card account is issued by Synchrony Bank. All right. So it's going to ask for your company full legal name. This is JCPenney's. JCPenney's application is going to reference exactly what is on your Experian Business Credit Advantage account, not NAV. So I do suggest everybody to get smartbusinessreports.com/Brex. That's directly Experian business division. So you can't go on Experian.com and get your business credit report. You can only go to smartbusinessreports.com. It's $199 one-time fee for a year. However, if you use the /Brex, then you're going to get 50% off. So it's like $99. And like I said, you guys just email me, support@joshvanhorn.com, and just say, send me the PDF file, and I'll be happy to send you basically a recap of everything I spoke about in this live, along with all the links and resources. So you guys can go through it. You know, it's basically a transcribed version of what I spoke about. Because I want you guys, regardless if you're in my mentorship one-on-one or not, if you're just willing to hear me out, that tells me that you're dedicated enough and you do want to have good business credit and you want to build up business credit, and it's almost 11 o'clock where you guys are if you're in Eastern Standard Time. So that tells me that you're dedicated. So I want to help you, and no strings attached on that. Of course, I have the one-on-one business credit mentorship, and anybody that stays till the end, I'm going to do a code that basically, if anybody is interested in my one-on-one business credit mentorship, I have 3 spots or 4 spots available right now. Anybody that is interested in that is going to get an extra 20% off the standard pricing. But the mentorship is only for people that want to fast track and don't have the time to do everything themselves, and basically just want their hand held the whole way every week and fast track everything. So let's go down to, not down to, but say this is your company, right? And you're doing the JCPenney's application or the ConocoPhillips, any application for that matter. If you know they pull Experian business credit, then basically you want to make sure you just kind of copy and paste. If Experian has LaSalle Medical and that's your name of your company, but it doesn't have LLC or anything, even though it is an LLC. Whatever Experian has, you want to copy that. And don't do this on a tablet or if all possible, I guess a tablet's okay, but don't do this on a phone. Some of my students, I had to actually, past students, I had a refund once I realized they were trying to do the client portal, my custom client portal, and do my mentorship and do all these applications using a little phone. Like, you're going to make so many mistakes, and you're going to get split files because of suite numbers or something, or, it's just not the right way to do it. You can literally buy $100 laptop a cheap laptop at Walmart. You got to invest in yourself and your business credit. So basically, you're just going to put copy and paste, or you could just type it out, but just make sure it's verbatim exactly what Experian has. So medical, tax classification, most of you guys are probably going to be LLC. So you're just going to put LLC. Now the business address. And I know this sounds like it's like common sense, but you'd be surprised. A lot of it's not so common sense. And this is a perfect example. See how it says 18 Fletcher Avenue. Avenue is abbreviated. Excuse me. 18 Fletcher Avenue, first abbreviated ABE. Some people say it doesn't really matter, but take it from somebody that has all these and has endorsement by Experian and a lot of other things that I can't necessarily disclose, but don't type out Avenue if it says AVE. I guess that's what I'm trying to point out. You want to match everything verbatim. The reason I say that is because when you hit submit, there's APIs and calls, and I'll show you guys that in a moment too. And this is getting real deep into things, but basically you're just going to put 18 Fletcher, AVE. Now, depending if you have a suite number or not, I recommend people not to put their suite number in the filmographic data within Experian. So if you have the Experian Business Credit Advantage account, there's going to be links here. And you can submit updates. It's over here, over here. There's like 3 blue links. They all go to the same thing. So you can submit an update. If it shows like suite or box 45 dash, like a hyphen or something, that's bad. That's going to get you not approved for much of anything on business credit. Even if you have an 800 personal FICO score, it's not going to get you much no PG business credit because those are frowned upon. And don't use any iPostal either. Any of these mail centers, mailbox places, stay away from them. Again, I'll send you some resource links. If you want the PDF, I'll send you resource links, ones that I would recommend, but they're premium locations. But they're going to cost you like $100 a month for that virtual address if you don't have a physical location. Home addresses are okay to use, but it's best not to use home addresses. I don't want necessarily my home address put out there and stuff. I mean, I put it out there, all my addresses, but I'm saying most people don't want to put out their personal address and everything out there. And it just looks better if you're really trying to get large amount of high limit business funding, especially with the manual underwriters, with all the fintechs. They will look at the business owner's address and the business address. And it just looks better when they're separate, not the same. Of course, if you're a locksmith, it's not a big deal. Or if you're a daycare, it's not a big deal. So it's industry based, of course. So you guys get what I mean about making sure everything matches. Okay. Now, am I going to say that if you spelled out Avenue on the application, that you're going to get denied? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying let's match it to where we know they're pulling. So this is J.C. Penney's, right? J.C. Penney's commercial card. And also you get like 30% discount if you have a commercial account with them. And that's the easiest card with Synchrony to get. There's no PG. But these two have something in common. Their application looks identical now. They're both no PG. They're both not too hard to get. Lowe's is harder to get than J.C. Penney's. But like I said, they're both underwritten through the same underwriter, Synchrony. But guess what? When you submit the applications, they're not checking Experian on both. Lowe's, any industrial supply type underwriters, companies, even though Synchrony is a financial institution, but Lowe's is not a financial institution. So because it's industrial supply and hardware, it reverts back to Equifax business being pulled to make the primary decision. So if you get denied for this, you're going to get the adverse notice, and it's going to say that it's because of your Equifax file. Too many trade lines or unverifiable business information is unverifiable. That's if you get that notice from Synchrony for any of their accounts or cards, it's probably because you're using a personal cell phone line or a Freedom Voice or one of the cheaper call forwarding or voice numbers, so you can use voice over IP business line, but you need to go through like Nextiva. I have a discount link for that as well. But they're the oldest, the most trusted, and all of their numbers are actually licensed to be accepted in the National 401 telecom database with Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T's, Spectrum, Comcast, and a few others. Too many to name, but there's like 8 different national business databases that are on the back end that Synchrony, Citibank does check. So you want to, to be in that. And also with LexisNexis. So anybody can go to actually LexisNexis and get your business file. It's not a business report. It's a business data file. So that's basically going to verify, like it will show if you're using a Google Voice number, LexisNexis will know that. LexisNexis, basically, their headquarters is out of Miamisburg, Ohio. I actually worked for LexisNexis when I was 18 years old. I didn't know what I was doing, though. Back then, it was a temp service job I got when I was like 18. That was like 27 years ago. Little did I know I'd be working with LexisNexis or teaching about LexisNexis 10 years later for nearly 15 years. But anyways, you really want to focus on structure of everything. I know I'm all over the place, but if you guys can kind of read through the things, and like I said, I'll put everything into a PDF file. You guys can just email me, support@joshvanhorn.com, and I will break it down structured better for you guys. This live is more for me to stress out the warnings that I want you guys not to fall victim of. Okay. Like you guys need to all pump the brakes. I know a lot of you guys are like trying to rush and hurry up and get your business credit and try to get the approvals. But all my business credit students, and I'll show you guys here in a minute, all their approvals. But the ones that my students that are getting the highest approvals are ones that have patience. Of course, everybody wants to get funding quick so you can do your investment or payroll or working capital or grow your business. And if you try to do like manipulation tricks and these so-called hacks that these wannabe credit experts are teaching, and buying these fake trade lines and these starter vendors, it might get you a couple like packaging tape credit lines or toilet paper credit lines or Sunbelt rentals for a backhoe or something that you can't really use that doesn't even report. So don't waste money on trade lines that aren't beneficial to you. Again, it's not about quantity of trade lines either. It's about the quality and the consistent usage of the quarterly payment trend. That's just here. I'll show you that. So don't pay attention to scores. I want you guys all to get 80 Paydex score. Get that out of your head. Straight to the moon. Don't worry about Paydex scores. Dun & Bradstreet's rarely even used for any business credit other than if you're trying to get net 30 vendor industrial supply credit, like a manufacturer or something. Even the government doesn't use Dun & Bradstreet anymore. They use Experian. That's why Experian has the small business FICO score. So even though, I push Experian because pretty much all the real financial underwriters, not just banks, but the no PG fintech underwriters, they all use Experian as well. They're not using Dun & Bradstreet. Dun & Bradstreet can be easily manipulated. Therefore, ever since COVID and all the fraudulent trade lines that people were self-reporting, they're just not trusted. But again, scores don't matter. I got my biggest approval. Which one is it? One of these here. Too many. You guys should see my desk here. But my biggest fintech approval was 150,000 with Divvy. My score was 34 for the Experian Business Credit Score, also known as the Experian Intel Score. So don't get hung up on the scores. The reason I say that is literally you could sign up today. You're a brand new LLC, get NAV, Prime, eCredible, Fair Figure, and I don't know, say Uline as like a net 30 vendor. You get those and come back to all your reports, Credit Safe, Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian. Come back in 30 to 60 days and you're going to have like 80 to 90 great business credit score for 98% of you guys, unless you're in high industrial risk like investments or real estate holdings, trucking, logistics. There's ways around that by changing the industrial codes to more narrow transportation NAC codes and SIC codes. That's a whole nother subject. But don't get hung up on the scores because the scores can be easily manipulated with all bureaus. And as an underwriter and a data furnisher, I can see on the back end what you guys don't see. And I can tell you firsthand experience, underwriters don't care and don't look at the score. That's not anything. They're not concerned about that at all, especially not the main score for each bureau. This score counts for more than this score, the Intel score. So the financial stability risk rating is more important than your Experian Intel score. And then this is a small business financial exchange risk rating. This is important if you're trying to get like traditional cards like American Express. They do consider that to a certain degree. But let's go down. This is what I was talking about. That's why my one-on-one business credit mentorship, the lowest one is 12 weeks, 12, 16, 26, and 52 weeks. The ones that are on 26 and 52 weeks, those are typically students of mine that are in real estate or trying to get a large, high level of funding, like combined funding, not just one, but they're trying to get like a stack like that, high limit, 500 to 3 million, with a majority of that being no PG. We exhaust all no PG options before we touch anything personally guaranteed. Just to throw that out there. But it doesn't matter if you're a new business or already established. You don't know what you have. A lot of people think that just because you have all these vendor accounts, trade lines, or whatever, like Business T-shirt Club, Crown Office Supplies, Sima Office Supplies, Strategic Network Solutions, Granger Uline. I couldn't tell you how many people contact me a day, send me a text, and want to do a consultation. They'll say, Josh, I already have like 10 trade lines. Excuse me. And then I will actually do a full audit once I accept them onto my mentorship. I'll do a full audit, and they have like one trade line reporting on Experian. They might have 2 on Dun & Bradstreet, 3 or 4 on Credit Safe. But each bureau has a place. So if you're trying to get no PG business auto loans or equipment financing, trailers, anything like that, like say you're starting a pressure washer business or lawn care, you're trying to get like industrial equipment like that, equipment financing, box truck, whatever, then 95% of the time the underwriter is going to be pulling Equifax. And then they could be pulling also Credit Safe, because Credit Safe is being used more and more to do double verification to make sure that not one bureau is just being manipulated and focused on, right? So for those that are actually trying to get one of those types of, everybody has different goals on business credit. So, I have quite a few students of mine that are in trucking and logistics, and that they're trying to get more box trucks or 18-wheeler trailer, our new Volvo, rig, and Dun & Bradstreet's not important if that's the goal, So we want to put primary focus on what your short-term goal is for the next 3 to 6 months. So that's why I'll have my students go after certain trade lines and credit lines that report to Credit Safe and report to Equifax. Now, those that are trying to get, say, working capital, revolving lines, draw lines, gas cards, store cards, fintech lines, SBA loans, traditional cards, business cards, then, or any type of revolving types of lines of credit, the unique creative financing ones as well. Like 98% of the time, the underwriter will exclusively be only pulling this report, and that's Experian business credit. But what they're going to be primarily focused on is this data here, payment experiences, and they're going to want to see the quarterly payment trend. That's right here. That's why I told you guys that you could potentially get a Sam's Club Business MasterCard. It's still going to be PG, but you could avoid possibly a hard pull if you have a right amount of trade lines and the right type of trade lines and activity for the quarterly payment trend, even if you're only 3 months or 6 months old. So you want to see these graphs. It's going to be hard for you to get real type of business credit funding if you pull your report and you don't see these graphs. So this is monthly payment trend, and then there's quarterly payment trend. And then there's continuous payment trend and newly reported payment trends, and then combined trades. The most important, like I said, is going to be your monthly and your quarterly. And it's pretty much like they put it by the order that it's important: monthly, quarterly, continuous, and newly payment trends. So think of the newly payment trends as similar to personal credit. If you have like an average age of accounts, or say 10 years, and then all of a sudden you went on an app spree and you got like 5 new personal cards, and then those reported as new accounts, then your average age of accounts is going to go down tremendously, probably like the 5 or 6 years, and that's going to hurt your overall score and profile. Well, that's kind of what's going to happen on the business side with the newly reported payment trends. So that's why with the mentorship, I have all my students go after all these experienced ones right away in the beginning, but not just any ones that report to Experian, ones that you can actually use and ones that aren't garbage and that aren't rip-off junk that they're selling from the dollar store or something, or overpriced toilet paper. Avoid those are junk. Go after ones that are actually usable and that could somehow benefit you as the business owner personally or your family. Because like everybody uses gas unless you have an electric vehicle. So like even a business fleet gas card, most people would be beneficial. So even if it's your wife or your husband or your kids or whatever, you can issue them a card and you can set limits on it. And even if you don't initially get high limits for the gas card, it's just one stepping stone. It's going to unlock so many doors for you. But you want to get the right usable credit lines. Don't waste money. Like a friend of mine that got me into this whole teaching business credit on YouTube, like 5-6 years ago, he came to me and was like, Josh, I know you've sold a company. You've started several companies. I exited out of my company in 2017, a personal credit repair business. Exited out for a 7-figure sum. And a private equity firm had acquired it. And I started that back in 2009. And I only spent like $1,500 at most to start that business that sold for 7 figures. But I have SEO background, so I can organically rank sites a lot easier back then than other people could. But my buddy from middle school reached out to me and was like, Josh, I see you on Facebook and you have all these different companies and you've sold e-commerce sites, BMW hood emblem sites. You're auctioning off $200,000 e-commerce business that sells one product, just a hood emblem, that I would import the emblems from China for $1.50, sell them for $40. But I would build business credit up for every business, even if it was a website domain, bmwhoodemblems.com. You can go the Wayback Machine and see, like 15 years ago, that was one of my businesses. And you can see that's all I sold. And then I auctioned it off, sold it for $274,000 on flippa.com. But I wouldn't have got $274,000 for it 10, 12 years ago had I not built business credit up. So I've been building business credit up since like 2001. Did I know I'd be teaching business credit? No, I had no idea I'd be teaching it. Just happened to be that way because my buddy reached out to me and was like, Josh, help me. I'm drowning. I've been watching people on YouTube, Facebook groups. I have like 8-9 trade lines. I've spent like $2,700. I have all these little starter vendors. Most I can get is packaging tape, cardboard boxes, toilet paper, and like soap supplies and like industrial type of supplies. He wanted to get a 12-passenger limousine. He had a 6-passenger. He did corporate pickups from airports. He wanted to get into doing homecomings, weddings, proms, expand his business. He didn't want to personally guarantee it because him and his wife were soon going to be getting a mortgage, and you don't want to have anything new activity on your personal credit because that's going to affect what you'd qualify for a mortgage. So that's the whole reason he wanted to do the no personal guaranteed part and get a limousine financed. He had good personal credit, but he didn't want to take that hit. So therefore, long story short, he wasted like $27 paying, like I said, $100 here, $150 here, $200 here for this starter vendor. And he was left with a bunch of nonsense garbage that he really didn't have any use for his particular business or even for his personal. I mean, it's like expired AA batteries and whatnot. It's overpriced. and then at the same time, when I did the audit on his reports, I'm like, let me check out all your reports and see what's going on. And he had like 3 trade lines reporting. And he only had 1 on Experian. And that's pretty pathetic. And I'm like, that's why you're not getting approved for anything. So he had a lot of these starter vendors that are being pushed out there. Ones like Red Spectrum. I don't know if he had exactly Red Spectrum, but definitely he had some Office Supply, Strategic Network Solutions, I think Crown Office Supply. Problem is, a lot of those starter vendors, they got their data furnishing license revoked. When it gets revoked from one bureau, like Dun & Bradstreet, it's a collateral effect. Then Equifax is going to pull your data furnishing license because they do these random audits and they're checking to see how you're conducting business. So if you go to, like, I'm not going to put their website up, but if you went to Sigma Office Supplies or Strategic Network Solutions, you'll see if you pay like this fee, you're going to get like a up to $4,000 credit limit, guaranteed approval. And then if you pay $189, you're going to get a $10,000 or $20,000 credit limit. But for a bunch of garbage or ebooks that are written from 25, 30 years ago, Microsoft 98 computer logo designer programs, garbage. But business credit is not federally regulated. Personal credit is. Therefore, that's how all these companies can get away with it. But I wanted to show you, do you guys see anywhere on the business credit reports? Do you guys see, even on yours, if you guys look at NAV or anything, Equifax, Credit Safe, do you guys see anywhere on any business credit report, anywhere where it shows your credit limit? So if one company gives you a $40,000 credit limit, show me where it is on your business credit report. Okay. That's the other misconception. Credit limits aren't disclosed and given to the bureaus for the reports. It's not a factor at all. What is a factor is the recent high credit, as you can see here. So like 85,800. For all we know, this financial service credit line, it could be like a $250,000 credit limit. But the recent high credit is $85,800. That could be the last time they used it, or the last time that the underwriter submitted the data, uploaded the XML or the Metro 2 format, and supplied the data. As you can see, it's like zero balance. So what basically happens, like the recent high credit, and then the company didn't use the credit after that. So that's why the balance is zero. And that's ideal. However, a legitimate real company, you do want to have debt. It's a very important. So on the personal side, you don't want to have any debt, right? You want to keep your utilization below 30%. Ideally, my sweet spot for me staying around like 820, 823 FICO score across all the bureaus, my sweet spot's like at 3% utilization for the personal cards. Now, on the business credit side, if you have all these trade lines and all these credit lines, Synchrony, Lowe's, American Express, whatever cards, and credit lines, if you have them all at like the balance is all zero, even if you have recent high credit usage, that helps. But if you have low amounts like this, 300, and like the balance are all zero or very low, like 200, 100, that's not going to help you. So that's why I try to tell viewers and my students, stay away from getting all these net 30 vendors and starter vendors. There's a place for them. Don't get me wrong. Even the established business students of mine, I have them, get the ones I feel that's necessary to strengthen their profile, but based on their goals and their situation on short term and long term. Everybody's goals are different. But what can really hurt you is if you have 10 net 30 or 10 trade lines that you just recently got, and they're all reporting zero balance. That's going to be a red flag because that's not normal, and you're never going to get any type of real funding on a profile like that. I don't care if you have an 800 personal FICO, it's just not going to happen because it's going to be looking like a high risk that you're manipulating it, and you don't want to have the underwriter assume or think that you're manipulating it. Understand the bureaus are not stupid. They catch on to things. They know what's going on. They're not stupid. So a real business credit profile is going to have some debt. They're going to have balances. But what you don't want is you don't want to be in days beyond terms, 31 days to 90 days, 60 days, 90 days. You don't want that. And actually, you don't even want up to 30 days beyond terms. So that'd be like if it's a net 30 invoice, if it's due on the 1st and you paid on like the 4th, then it could report right there, days beyond 30 days. That's not really bad derogatory. It's like a neutral because it's normal for like big corporations and big companies, to slow pay and be a couple days late, snail mail, whatever. So it's not directly used against you as like a derogatory, but beyond 31 days, absolutely is. It's going to go to pink, and then 61 days, it's going to go to a darker red. So you want to avoid those. And then if you have derogatories on your business credit and they are legitimate, it's very hard to get derogatories removed on the business credit reports, especially Experian, because, like I said, business credit is not federally regulated. They don't have to abide by the Fair Credit Reporting Act as a business, business to business. So if you just have like one or two days beyond up to 30 days, it's okay. But try to avoid that. Always pay early, but don't always have zero balance, because you have to think of it this way. You're not demonstrating that your company is financially sound, that your company knows how to basically handle debt. So it's much better to show high debt, and yeah, your business credit score is going to go down, but like I said, business credit scores don't matter. But then say the next month that $27,000 was paid off, that's going to demonstrate that your company is healthy. Look at it this way: if you have like 10 trade lines reporting on Experian and they're all like $100, $200, and say you have 10 of those, do you really think like a major underwriter is going to be like, oh yeah, you're great business credit, you have 10 Experian trade lines and your recent high credit on all of those are like $100 or $50, $150, $200? That's not impressive to them at all. In fact, that looks like you're trying to manipulate, and like you're going to be looked at as potentially fraud or high risk. It's much better to have one trade line rather than 10 on Experian and have a recent high credit of like a 1,200, and that you're using that, because making one trade line payment of say $1,000 or $800 is much better than having 5 or 10 at $100. And again, a lot of this might be going through one ear out the other ear because it starts getting very complex. And I'm sure there's no other person on YouTube that gets this deep into business credit. In fact, I know that for a fact, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys. The people that are interested in my one-on-one business credit mentorship, you guys can text me right here, 937-423-9954. If you want to do a free consultation to see if you would qualify for my one-on-one business credit mentorship. And anybody that does watch us live all the way to this period, you're going to get 20% off if I'm able to qualify you. I just want to show you guys too. This is the new client portal here. It's secure.businesscredit.cc. That's my new client portal. We do have Android and iOS app. So as you can see here, I don't suggest you to do tasks and everything on business credit using a phone, but I did create and develop the iOS and Android app more so you can read on the fly. There's my podcast audio formats in the client portal as well. The new client portal, I should say, because we're launching this one next week. I already have the other client portal that I've been using. That's this one. But at any rate, the new client portal is very robust. Videos and quizzes. There's kind of course in it, but it is one-on-one mentorship with me. What I assign to you is going to be completely different than what I'm going to assign to another student. So every week you're going to get custom tasks, anywhere from like 5 to 7 tasks. And you let me know the outcome of each of those tasks based on the outcome of each of those tasks in the client portal. That's going to dictate what I'm going to have you go after on week 2 and so forth. So communication is key. That's what's going to get you approvals, is having good communication with me, keeping me in the loop. And every week it gets better and better as far as approvals go. And you start getting higher and higher limits. But I'll get off of that now. So I don't know if this is going to show or not. I'll get over back to you guys' questions in a minute. I apologize for rambling for an hour. But let me see if this shows or not. I don't know. Yeah, okay. I think it shows. You guys see that? Okay, so you guys see like this code? Again, I don't know if I should even be showing you guys this because it really doesn't even matter. I mean, it does matter if you're like me and you dissect the applications and stuff. But when I do applications for any underwriter, this is one thing you can look at if you know code. But again, most of you guys probably don't know code, but this is one thing that I actually look at when there's applications. Some of them are not encrypted, but you can see where applications go on this code. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't say anything because maybe Synchrony's going to get mad or something. I'll leave that for another video. I don't want to maybe necessarily do it on this video, but anybody can right click on any website, like Grasshopper, view page source. See this one, it's not as encrypted. You can see a lot more data. So yeah, I can see they're using a WordPress as their platform, their design. But then once you go into applications, open account, it's just block. You guys know I'm in the Philippines, that's why. I have to use a VPN. And if I use my VPN, then you guys are going to be slightly disconnected. Let me see if I have another example. See how this one's more encrypted? That's probably not a good example. Flip card. So this might be a good one. You guys can see just this as example. You can see how this is like a data field. So it's going to, asking for your email, first, last name, company name. So you view source. Again, you guys probably don't need to be even doing this. This is just my OCD business credit mastering everything. So you can see here, you probably can't see, but you can see, well, I keep on saying you can see. But Clarity, as this is Clarity, so that's a secondary bureau. So Clarity is owned by Experian. So it's a window document, clarity.ms, and then you can see script J958A8UK0EI. That's their license code or their tagged code for this particular application. And then you can further see they use Partner Stack. That flow uses Partner Stack for tracking purposes. But the part that's the most important part is this Clarity part. So the point I'm trying to make is, if you know the underwriter or the application, if you know where they're submitting this data to by APIs or code checks, then you're going to have a better idea, and you can kind of leverage it to work in your advantage. So if you know they're going to check, say, Array or Cantora, Small Business Financial Exchange, because a lot of these, they don't check the main bureaus right away. They'll check like LexisNexis, secondary databases, because it's cheaper. It's only going to cost them like 20 cents or 50 cents per API call, 50 cents, whatever. And then if it passes that check, then it will go on to the secondary check. And this all happens within 30 to 90 seconds of you hitting the submit application. But the point I'm trying to make is just trying to show you guys things you guys can look out for if you guys don't mind being a nerd like me. If you don't want to do the mentorship, or you can't qualify for that. But I'm just trying to have you guys think outside the box and kind of leverage it to work for you and build business credit up and not get ripped off at the same point, I'm going to have this link as well, the Bluevine partnership that I have with Bluevine. It's an exclusive deal that we worked out with Bluevine. It doesn't matter if you already have a business checking account set up or not with Chase or Bank of America. I'm going to tell all of you guys, even if you're not a subscriber, use my link, bluevine.com/partner/GBC. But just email me and I'll send you the PDF that kind of explains all this. But there's no fee to get this account whatsoever. So, and there's a major benefit for funding purposes to get this as well. But it's just a free business checking account. There's no minimum opening balance. So you could literally fund it with like $1 if you wanted to. But the more you use it, the more likelihood you're going to get higher approval amount. So Bluevine does do business credit lines, but they won't give you a business credit line right off the gate, a high limit, unless you have a Bluevine business checking account. It doesn't have to be used as a primary, but they offer like 6 different business credit lines. And they're technically, it could be like no PG because it's fintech. It's based on, say, revenue or usage or business credit. It's a combination because they offer several different ones. So you could open up an account and, like I said, you have nothing to lose. But not just that, but once you have more than one business bank account for your new business, that's going to help because all this data is getting checked with LexisNexis on the business side. So every time you hit a submit button on a business credit application or a business banking financial institution application, it's being pinged to the API, say at LexisNexis, right? And that's kind of doing an in-print inquiry. And then it comes back, okay, Bluevine approved you. So then it's going to show a footprint that you have an account with them, right? That's going to further help you if you're having problems, say, with the verification with Synchrony or Sam's Club, MasterCard. If you're getting that error message saying that business information is unverifiable, then this having more than one business bank account, not just Bluevine, but more than one, that could actually help trigger. Okay. but they have several different business loans and working capital. So definitely anybody, I would say, definitely would be able to benefit. You have nothing to lose by using it. Novo, I don't use anymore. They were a sponsor for like almost 2 years. I don't use them anymore. Their customer service sucks, and they changed their working capital line to more of a merchant cash advance where they're drawing every day. And it just makes it harder and harder to get approved for funding. I've realized, and especially with some of my students, see the invites and the approvals with Bluevine being a bit more lenient and relaxed when it comes to approvals. Now, I'm not going to say that Bluevine is going to give you, as a brand new business, it's going to give you like $10,000-$20,000 working capital revolving line or draw line, but they can give you like $2,000, $5,000, $7,000, $8,000, and you've only been in business for say 3 to 6 months. You can still get funding from them, but you won't with Novo. Novo is a minimum of 6 months now. Before it wasn't, but now it's a minimum of 6 months. So Novo and North One, those are two that I would avoid. I'm biased a little bit because I'm in partnership with Bluevine, but not just that, but anybody that does use my link for Bluevine, your data is going to go to Jesse, my account rep over at Bluevine, and then they can send you invite only business credit funding opportunities that will be coming available, because every financial institution there, it's getting more and more competitive, so they have to compete with each other's business. So versus just going to bluevine.com, it's just going to be as a mass, right? And also you're going to have a minimum deposit requirement just going to bluevine.com, and they are going to charge you there's different maintenance fees and stuff, but with our partnership link, it's 100% free account. Like there's no fees whatsoever. No fees. Not just after like Novo, they will give you like 30 days free or something, and they charge $5 or $10 a month. No, with my partner link with Bluevine, 0 fees ever. No monthly fees. No minimum amount that you need to have in your account to open the account. No, it can be any amount. That's almost unheard of. And there's no minimum maintaining balance amount. So a lot of these other banks, they'll make you have maintained to get the free business checking account. You have to maintain a certain amount in your business checking account. With this, there's no, you can just have $1 in there and that's it or whatever. But again, I don't want Bluevine getting mad at me. I don't advise you just to have $1 in there. You want to build up that relationship with Bluevine because they look at internal metrics. So they're not going to just be biased and look just directly like traditional financial institutions and underwriters, where they're just looking at your business credit and just looking solely at your personal credit to give you like even a soft pull on your personal credit. They're not looking at that so much. It's a factor, but not so much. Your internal data with internal banking activity that you do with Bluevine, that's going to account. It's all about the interbanking relationship. So what I would suggest, if you have Chase or Bank of America currently, and you use that as your primary business bank account, I'm not saying just to close that and just put everything into Bluevine. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, if you do have a couple thousand, or I don't know your financial situation, but if you have some extra funds, like say put 20 or 30% of your capital or the savings that you have or something, put it into a new Bluevine business checking account. And then, what's this here? Yeah, there's these people commenting. That's another issue I'm going to explain to you guys later. But it's their competitors, BBC Supplies and Dash Office Supplies. I'll go over that here in a moment. That's another thing I wanted to talk on as well. But anyways, like I said, I'll put everything in a PDF. Just email me support@joshvanhorn.com and I'll outline everything we spoke about. But definitely use my link for the Bluevine account. You have nothing to lose. Just put if you can, if you already have Chase or Bank of America as your primary bank, just put couple $100 to start with. Use it for like a payroll account or something, because it's good to always have multiple bank accounts and backup accounts as well. Like all my different businesses, I don't put everything all in one. Like even with like Navy Federal and like First Tech, I have my accounts where I have multiples. Okay. So like my payroll for my employees, it's ADP will take it out of one account, one institution. I spread it so all my eggs aren't in one basket, So diversify things even when it comes to your own finances on the business side, regardless if it's being funding or capital, working capital, or if it's loan funds or whatever. Just diversify it. But the other thing, like I said, why I'm encouraging you guys to start building up that interbanking relationship with Bluevine is you could potentially get anywhere from like $5,000 to $150,000 business loan from them. And depending on your situation, you only need to really be in business for like 3 months. Of course, it's going to be a lot of it's going to be like revenue based if you don't have a strong business credit and personal credit. Then something has to give. Like you can't have bad personal credit, bad or no business credit, and be a brand new business. Like anybody on YouTube, I don't care who it is. Like I don't care if it was. I shouldn't say that because he just passed away, but Jesus or anybody. But if anybody tells you that you can build business credit up and have bad personal credit and no business credit, that you can just get like no PG $100,000 business credit line, liars. Like that's just impossible. It's just never going to happen. Even having an 800 FICO score on the personal side still won't necessarily get you a $100,000 business loan. It's just not how it works. There's so many moving parts on business credit. And I try to have all my one-on-one business credit mentorship students never put themselves in a position where they're putting their personal liability with the business. No, you want to avoid that. The only time that I think it's okay to like do the PG part where you're going to be responsible for it is when you've exhausted all options. Like you've already got, and I don't suggest anybody to do what I did. I was the guinea pig, right? But you've already exhausted all these options, you already got all these cards. But I wouldn't even suggest do that because there's maybe half these cards that I wouldn't recommend a lot of people to get because they're like limits of like 4,000, 8,000, 10,000. It's much better to have like, like say Toolbox and Roadflex, Corpay. Have these cards, you got like 10 of them, right? And then they all have higher limits, right? So like 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. Those combined, those 10 cards, those 10 accounts are a lot easier to manage and not going to get you in trouble when you have like 100 cards that all different due dates, and you have to make sure you keep them active every so often and stuff, so you don't lose or get the limits like decreased or whatever. So again, it's not about the quantity. I was the guinea pig, so that's why, I can advise which ones would be good for a logistics company or a trucking company or e-commerce company. I don't suggest all of them to be for every student the same. But you can see here, this card, this is the Fuel Man. I'm going to show the numbers, of course, but I don't know if you guys can see how they're both, I showed too much there. Not paying attention, looking at the camera. You see how one says multi and the other one says fleet, and they're both MasterCard, right? So the fleet one is the one that everyone's issued, right? It can only be used for gas and gas only, unless you know a strategic method like I know. I bought houses during COVID, being able to stack liquidate these cards. Also the same underwriter, and they're very high limits. But you don't have to do that strategic method if you build up that 3-month relationship with FleetCor. It's the same as like the Universal Premium, MasterCard, same underwriter, VP Business Solutions, Speedway, Superfleet. But all those cards basically, you could potentially get very high limits with each of them, ranging from 20 to 40, 50,000 for each one. But what your goal is you want to eventually get them to unlock them for that multi-use. Let's see here. Maxis. I think the Maxis person is the same one that was talking about the BC supplies. I think it's one of the same person. I'll go over that and explain that to you guys here in a minute. But yeah, basically the multi you can use for anything. So you could potentially liquidate it. If it's a, say, $40,000 limit, you can just take $40,000 off of it. And then you could buy a property. Wave County, is Freedom Voice good? So Freedom Voice, I believe, reports to Credit Safe. That's okay. But for this, how much do you pay for the Freedom Voice? Because I know they have different accounts. If you pay, I mean, I wouldn't suggest Freedom Voice if you like the price point. It's just like, if you're going to build business credit up, do it the right way. It's only 10. Well, you pay for what you get. So that's why you would have a problem getting Synchrony or Community lines or Citibank even. They're not going to approve you because it's not going to be accepted in LexisNexis and the National 401 telecom databases. Even Verizon would reject that. AT&T, Comcast, Spectrum, they will reject it if it's that, for sure. Because voice over IP numbers are attached with the license, so they're probably buying those numbers from a wholesaler that's like the same as like Google Voice, where you can get them for like, you can resell them by numbers for like $1, and then you just route it over internet. So what's best to get is Nextiva. They're the oldest business voice over IP, and you can get the trade line reported to Credit Safe and Equifax using eCredible. But let me show you, anybody that's interested in that. If you go through my sales rep, he'll get you like the first month free, so you can test it out, try it out. It's really good though. I've been using Nextiva since 2007. They used to be very expensive, like $300 a month, but now they have to compete and everything. So now you can get it for like $25, $30 a month, and you get two numbers. And it gets 100%. I can guarantee that Nextiva lines, business lines, they don't accept any personal, so it's only business services. But I can say with 100% certainty they will be accepted into all national business telecom databases, guaranteed. You can submit it right and get listed. But Nextiva, actually, their system automatically does it. So after about 30, 60 days of having the account, then you don't necessarily have to do it. But you can force the databases to update it. That's why I suggest everybody to do it. Like the video I put out yesterday about the 401 national telecom databases. But yeah, you get the Nextiva app, and it's like a whole, you can do call recording, call forwarding. There's so many options. So I would definitely recommend anybody to get Nextiva. Just send me an email, support@joshvanhorn.com, and request that PDF, and I'll send over that PDF after the live stream. That will have all the links and the discount coupon codes and everything as well. Just because I want you guys to save some money. Not every link that I'm giving you guys is going to be where they're not all affiliate links. Like some of these partnership links, they're not, I don't earn anything. I just negotiated rates where I get some of the commission or referral fees taken from my cut, basically. And in return, they're giving you guys a discount, right? All right, so where was I? Anybody that's just tuning in or whatever, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Yeah, so let me go and address the elephant in the room. Okay. Some of you guys may know I had Daniel Anderson from Dash Office Supply come on my channel about, was it 2 months ago or so? And I interviewed him just like I do with a lot of the, new companies that offer, business credit reporting as a trade line, but I won't promote them or I won't interview them and give them a time or a day unless I see that they're not ripping off people. And, Dash Office Supply, just to make it very clear, anybody that is hearing this right now, I don't recommend anybody to get Dash Office Supply. I've had a lot of my students get them. I'm in the middle of having next week a meeting with Experian, and we're going to be doing a direct audit to see the licensing, data furnishing license that Dash Marketing Group has. I can confirm from how I came about finding Dash Office Supply is from a couple students back in December and January that signed up for my mentorship, that when I did their business credit audit on their for their Experian report, just like this, I saw Dash Office Supply here. They don't show the name. With all business credit reports, you can never find out the actual name, but it'll say the supplier category and the last 4 digits of the account number. So last 4 digits of the account number is typically going to be the last 4 digits of the card number, or like that actual billing account number, or a combination of the two. So when I do the onboarding with any of my one-on-one business credit mentorship students, if they already have trade lines reporting, I go through each one and I find out which one. Okay, this is NAB, this is eCredible. Okay, this is American Express. So, I tag each one and map them out. But then there's some that I'm like, oh, I don't know this one. So I'll ask the student, what is this? This is a net 60. I'm not aware of any net 60 ones that are business services, right? Or net 30 business supplies. And I had two different students in a matter of like 3 months tell me, oh, it's a company called Dash Office Supply. So I can confirm they were reporting as of like 2 months ago. Dan at Dash Office Supply for the last 2 months has sent me the Experian confirmation data that Experian accepted the data, as well as the Excel format showing all the different companies that he uploaded to Experian. Now, what I think might be happening is Experian could have recently revoked their data furnishing license or put a freeze on it, or they could be doing an audit on them right now. When I say doing an audit, this is standard. Like I have a data furnishing license with Equifax and CreditSafe. CreditSafe, they don't do audits very often, but Equifax does do quite frequently. They do random audits. So like in 1 year period of time, like every month I upload to Experian my mentorship students on like the 27th at 3 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 12:50 or 2:59, basically 3 a.m. On the 27th. It uploads, right? With that data, if say I have a spike in signups with my mentorship students, it could trigger some type of review. So then they're going to request me to provide them with some further data to say justify, oh, you typically only have like 10 students sign up in a month. Now you're reporting a total of like 80 students, or 80 client files or so. So it's just abnormal activity that could trigger an audit. And then during the audit process, it needs to be reviewed. And it's not going to be reviewed overnight. They're a big company and it has to be manually reviewed. Therefore, it'll be put into a section where it's going to could take a couple weeks to get to the person that needs to review it to confirm that these are legitimate trade lines. So if Experian is holding up Dash Office Supply's data from being reported, it's still in Experian's hand. They're just not implementing it into the XML files on the reports yet, because they just want to make sure that these are legitimate, real, and these aren't like basically paying for a trade line, and in a sense, yeah, these starter vendors are kind of paying for a trade line, but it gets real complex, and I don't want to overcomplicate you guys. But just going forward, just want you guys to know, don't sign up for Dash at all. Don't. And I would say that indefinitely now, because there's a lot of things going on right now that, as you can see, competitors that I think Dan, like I don't know the guy at all, and I can't do background checks on every net 30 vendor owner and stuff. I mean, you got me to pull a criminal report of the owner of Uline and Quill and Business T-shirt Club, Creative Solutions, and like I can only vet the company. I can't vet like the individual owners of these trade lines. I can't do that. Like that'd be just too much. And what does somebody's domestic violence arrest or DUI have to do with them running a company that's, but there's a lot of people out there just like, yeah, I guess there's two partners that was with Dan or something on a different company that years ago. And, they screwed over each other or something, and now they're like bashing each other. So that's why I don't know what's going on. And that's why I took down the Dash Office Supply videos a week ago, a month ago. I even had my attorney get involved just because, of course, if any things do come to light that Dash is a um, fraudulent company, then absolutely, my legacy and my name, I don't take that lightly. So if Dash comes out to being like, um, if there's one shred of evidence show that there's fraud going on, and I don't want to say fraud, but taking advantage, I should say, charging people for a membership fee or something, and then them not actually furnishing the data to Experian, that's going to be a big issue, because I'll make sure that even Experian goes after them as well, because they can get a liable case against them personally. Even the government would go after you like this. Not just me, but there's like 4 different people, institutions that would go after a company if I found out this is if there's any shred of evidence to this. But yeah, if anybody does have Dash Office Supply right now, I would close 100% close. Absolutely. I'm being transparent with you guys. I know I advised some of you guys to get Dash, but we're all human, we make mistakes, but I can't confirm 100% right now that there's anything wrong. I'm just saying there's a lot of like people commenting, and I don't want to say it's people, it's one person, I think. I even get a text from the same person, and I think it's the same person that came in here 4 times now tonight under different names, and they all pretty much said the same thing. So I think it's the same person, and I have a feeling it's Dan's ex-partner, business partner for another business. So I don't know. That's why I'm not trusting either or. And I'm going directly to Experian. I've already put in an appointment for next week with the vice president of a division of Experian for them to look up and tell me right on a Zoom call what's going on. And they will be able to confirm. And then I'll let you guys know. But as it stands right now, absolutely 100%. Cancel, close, don't do any business with Dash Office Supply at all. Period. Just because of the fact that even if they do have petty problems, partnership, we don't need that drama and nonsense in our life. We're trying to build business credit up, right? And you guys build business credit up. We don't need to be dealing with petty companies that don't have good integrity, morals and business integrity or whatever. If an owner screwed over his partner and there's any truth to that, then, I don't want to do business with that company, period, So anyways, what else did I want to cover? Let me look at this. I'm sorry, you guys, I've rambled. I will try to actually take this live replay, and I'll kind of edit it tomorrow and kind of structure it into some mini series so you guys can follow along a little better, so it's not so hard to understand, because I know it bounced all over the place like a bouncy ball. I'll put all the Sam's Club stuff all together in one. This is the problem having ADHD. I've been on Ritalin ever since I was like a little kid. But the main thing I want you guys to understand is don't trust all these people on YouTube just because they got a lot of subscribers or they have a lot of the video has a lot of views. Always look at the comments. The comments would tell you a lot of things. Like, you won't really see that any bad comments on my videos. You might see some people say that watching you, Josh, is like watching paint dry. You're boring or something. Well, business credit's not supposed to be exciting. And I know I can be boring and I get too deep into business credit. I'm just a business credit nerd. Well, I'm more of an engineer nerd, I should say, an IT engineer nerd. That's why I dissect applications and code and algorithms and try to figure things out. That's just how I am. That's also responsible for me getting so many approvals as well, because I won't stop until I particularly get approved. Not anymore though. I'm not interested in any more credit myself. I have too much. You can never not have too much credit, but I actually do. I'm trying to reduce the stress in my life with not having to worry about so many accounts to maintain. So just kind of recap, you guys. I'm looking at my notes here. Always look at the comments on other content creators, and always look at why they're trying to, like, what their motive is. Like, always somebody has a motive. Even I have a motive. Like, I'll be honest with you guys on that. So I have two motives actually. First motive is I jump around to so many different businesses over the last 25 years. And even if it's a company that's I'm making very good money, like BMW hood emblems, that was making like nearly $20,000 a month, pure profit I was making off that, but I sold it. And it was a pretty much autopilot business. I had a 3PL in North Carolina that would handle all the shipping and stuff for a little tiny hood emblem. And I just sit back and pretty much collect $27 profit off each emblem and sell anywhere from like 10 to 20 of them a day organically on Google Shopify store. But I just get bored easily. So if I'm not passionate about it, I just move on. It's not always about the money. And that's hence why I've formed over 20 different companies, but only about 12 got up off the ground, and I've sold about 5 or 6, and I have like 4 or 5 currently still now, in all different industries. I have a powder coating company too, where we powder coat like motorbike parts and motorcycles, lawnmowers parts, stuff like that, and light poles and stuff for the government. So I built up business credit on all those. That's how I got into business credit. It wasn't about teaching at all. But, after about a couple of years, 2-3 years, I get bored easily. And me teaching business credit is actually the first thing that I actually don't get bored with, because there's always something new. There's always challenges. And it's like all the other ones at business I started, there was no challenge. Like, I overcome the challenges and, I got it to the peak, right? But with business credit, it's always like something new. There's new underwriters. Underwriters are changing, like Comenity, Floor and Decor. They switched to Synchrony. And then like Sam's Club, no PG before. Now, March 4th, they changed it to PG required. But is there a way to have the Sam's Club Business MasterCard not check your personal credit? Yes, there is. But that doesn't mean it's not no PG. What's at the bottom, what you sign, e-sign or whatever, read the small print. That's basically dictating if something's PG or not PG. Just because they do a hard pull does not mean it's PG. You could get a hard pull and it's still not, and it'd be a no PG, and vice versa. So just like so many people think that if you give your social security number, that means it's a PG. No, it's not the case at all. It's just too much mixed bad information being put out there. And this information just keeps on being resurfaced, and people making this content and just repeating the same old 80 PAYDEX score and all this nonsense over and over. And it gets quite annoying. And they all do it for a monetary gain. Myself, I don't, of course, like I said, I like helping people. So that's like one of the reasons that I do this. So, I mean, that's maybe one selfish way. And I like seeing people get approvals and stuff. And, like another student I had, he started it at like a $10,000 Sam's Club card. And over a 3-month period of time, he got up to like 45,000. And that was just like the last time he did an increase was like 2 weeks ago, and got like 30,000 to 44,000. So I like seeing that. And it's just like, that's just one account that's building up that interbanking relationship. Then you do that with other ones. So it's just, and it all takes time. Like, you're not going to get this quick in the mentorship, or even without the mentorship, you're not going to get it quick. It takes time. And that's why you have to develop that relationship with the financial institutions, the interbanking relationship. But then you also have to do the patience, take time. Where don't ding you, that is. Hang on, I'm getting sidetracked again on my ADHD. I'll look at those here in a moment. I don't want to get sidetracked, and then it will be another hour before I get the point out. But yeah, what was I saying here? So yeah, just like say Lowe's, it's Synchrony, right? All of them. You want to get even this, even though you don't need it. Maybe you're not doing rehabs and stuff, but say you get $3,500 starting limit, then use it a little bit, even a couple $100. Then use the verbiage that request for limit increase. Tell them you don't want to have high utilization on your business credit report. That's why you want to justify a limit increase from 3,500 to say 12,000, because you have an upcoming large purchase for your business that you need to do some remodeling for your office or something, or your shop, and that's why you need to. That's how you can justify it. You can't just say I want a limit increase, because you have to manually call Synchrony in. You have to give them a good reason why. They'll put you in hold. They'll come back after 30 seconds to a minute, and they're going to tell you yes or no. But it's usually up to that person that you're talking on the phone to make a judgment call. So you want to keep on internally getting those limits increased with the financial institutions, right? To the point where you've exhausted all that. And you never know when you're going to need to use it too. Like, I have one student that he does like kitchen and bathroom remodels, but he uses the Home Depot and the Lowe's for Pros. And the Lowe's for Pros, he has the highest limit I've ever seen. Like, my limit's like 31,500, I think. But my original limit, I think, was 6,500, I believe. You guys can look back at the videos back years ago and see that. But his limit's like $78,000, but he is a contractor, So, I mean, that explains it. But I just didn't think Lowe's gives that high for that with Synchrony, maybe a direct relationship. I didn't know that they give that high for, the Net 55 account. So learn something new on that. Now, the other reason why I do this is, I'm sure some of you guys may know my health history. In 2017, once I sold my company, when it got acquired, a couple months later, I got started having tremors real bad and got diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's disease. So, yeah, I didn't know what it was at all. And, it's been obviously a challenge, and tremors weren't very bad then, but enough for my wife to be noticing them and wanted me to address that health issue. And I didn't know anything about it. And that's when I realized, like, what's Parkinson's, and found out that's what Muhammad Ali had suffered from, and Michael J. Fox. So when you guys might see me where my head twitches sometimes, that's just me trying to control it. I move around a lot. That's just me trying to control the uncontrollable things. It doesn't really affect my brain at all. It's just movements and stuff, But it doesn't affect anything with this business credit, obviously. But I did have to get some brain operations and take a break from YouTube in the end of 2022. That's why there's like 7 months I was not on YouTube in the first half of 2023. But I was part of Michael J. Fox clinical trials for Parkinson's research. The first two deep brain stimulation surgeries were unsuccessful. The third one was July 9th, 2023. And I was able to lower my dopamine agonist meds, cardopa and levodopa, where I'm not putting in so much toxic medication into my liver and kidneys. And instead, I don't want to say it's a cure, but I just don't like putting all these pills and stuff in my body. So that was able to help me tremendously because I couldn't even drive really car. The tremors were getting so bad and motor skills were deteriorating. So it was life-changing. In fact, like that deep brain stimulation surgery, actually, it was life-changing for me because I'm taking actually less medication than I was 5 years ago. So, but the reason I'm telling you guys this is because if anybody goes to the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research, teamfox.org / I think it's campaigns / J Van Horn, then you can look up, or you just go to the search box and you can search Josh Van Horn. And it has my whole story, and then it shows like the campaign results. And we've been able to donate $567,000 in the past like 3.5 years. So if you look back at my old videos, you'll see a lot of Michael J. Fox Foundation like banners and sponsor thing with YouTube that we did during like charity live streams and stuff. So my point, I'm telling you guys this, is like 80% of all the mentorship earnings and sponsorship revenue that comes in quarterly, I send to the Michael J. Fox Foundation to a bank wire. So like the last one was in end of November, and I have one coming up that I'm going to be sending a bank wire. But the end of November, it was like 41,000 that we did a bank transfer wire to them. So it's a cause that's near and dear to me. I do reserve, like I said, 3 to 4 months I keep, because you never know what's going to happen with, some scammer doing a chargeback on me. So that's why I keep it in that escrow reserve account. And then I do keep like obviously 20% to cover the overhead. I have businesses that are autopilot earning me very good money, like my legal marketing company. It takes care of my family 10 times over every month. So I'm fortunate enough to be blessed where I'm semi-retired and I can help you guys, teach you guys this. And then at the same time, I can raise for a cause that's near and dear to me. So anyways, just want to get that out of the way so you guys understand why I'm doing this. So those are my two selfish reasons why, motives that I'm doing this for, right? Aside from me, just I love teaching too. I never knew if I knew 20 years ago that I would enjoy teaching, I probably would have been a high school teacher or something. I don't know, but I do love teaching. But I guess the point I'm telling you guys that is, don't trust all these other people on YouTube. You guys can trust me. I'm publicly endorsed by Experian. I have all the videos. I have the cards. I have all the, you guys can just, it's all public data. There's, life's an open book, but if you look at some of these other channels, they like hide behind aliases and like they hide so much, like you don't even know anything about them and stuff, and they're very vague on things. They don't show you any proof of things. They just tell you, go to this site, hit apply, and just kind of tell you, fill out this application. Well, what's the point of telling somebody to go to a Shell gas station application? Just like, honestly, it's like me going and telling you this. Okay, guys, just go to Lowe's here. Just go Lowe's application. You guys want to get this Lowe's card? Okay, here's the link. Just go here, fill this out. You put your business name here. Just fill this out, and then you hit submit. And then just put 20,000. Just no rhyme or reason for it, and then just that's it. It's no PG. Like that's what this content is becoming. Not mine, but others. They just put stuff out there. Game Master, yeah, they make commission. Not the big corporate lines. No, they don't get commission on those because even I can't get commissions like Lowe's, Synchrony. I don't like they don't have any programs or anything. But that's what I was saying. The starter vendors, like you see these companies that are promoting these starter vendors, like. And I'm not saying some of them are scams, but like Business T-shirt Club, CEO Creative, and even the ones that charge money up front, I try to avoid. There's a couple that it's okay, but most of those that charge money up front, they're promoting them because they get like $40, $50. So if you make a video and get 100 people to sign up for some starter vendor and you're getting paid $40 or $50 each sign up, that's like $5,000 and it's a 10-minute video. That's why you won't see me ever promoting those. I promoted some of them, but it's the ones that I do promote are like I could have be promoting so many of them. Game Master, he's one of my students. He doesn't. I've had him sign up for certain ones that are starter vendors, but you won't see me talking about them on here just because like I could and I could earn off of them. But, you know, if I told you guys to all to go after one of these starter vendors, how do I know that each and every one of you guys could benefit from that trade line? You may not benefit from it. So that's why I said everybody's business credit profile is different and your goals are different. So I will adjust on what I feel that's going to be beneficial for you, you know? So of course there are some that across the board that I think everybody should have and stuff, but the mentorship, some students get funding pretty quick and some it takes several months, like Game Master and stuff. But one thing is for sure is you don't see anything negative about my mentorship. I've had over 400 students and I'm unaware of any negative review. I've had a couple people like that I feel that were up to no good that I had to suspend off the mentorship, and they don't ask for a refund. I just refund them because I don't want to deal with the people that are basically just out to get free money, like no PG credit lines, because I'm friends with some of the underwriters, you know. So if I tell you to go to one underwriter and then that underwriter knows I sent them and then they default after the first month, it's going to make me look bad, you know. So I don't want that, you know. So, but one thing is for certain, those that have that are my students that maybe are not getting as quick as results as they would like. One thing is for certain is they're learning a lot about business credit as long as they're listening to what I'm telling them on each task. And then on top of that, like I can almost guarantee the Game Master, I would say probably by June, end of June, he'll probably come in here and be on live or something and do like a testimony or something. And it won't even be a paid testimony. Like I'll bring him up or bring other students up, and I want honest advice, feedback on my program. You know, it's only beneficial for me to get you guys approvals. You know, but I'm not going to sacrifice integrity and my ethics and morals and values so you get some approvals quickly. It's just like I'm not going to do things like shady and stuff, you know. Yeah, there's certain things that maybe I could do with some of my students that would get them quicker approvals and stuff, but I'm a big believer in things will catch up with you, and I don't want to be responsible for messing up any of my students' business or personal credit for that matter. Do things right, and then it's it's not an overnight process. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, they say, and it's very much true when it comes to business credit. Yeah, Game Master LLC. Well, I don't have I'm endorsed by Experian. I'm the only one endorsed by Experian business division. However, I don't qualify for a data furnishing license with Experian, only because the fact that they require a minimum of 500 active accounts to be able to be accepted for data furnishing. I don't have 500. I don't accept more than 60 students at one time. And you have to have 500 in the last 6 months. I don't have that, and I don't want that either. That's why a lot of my students they start with 12 weeks or 16 weeks, and like 60, 70% of them end up extending to 26 and 52 weeks. I'm seeing that like more and more. So I just don't meet the requirements, for Experian data furnishing. I would love to, but I just don't meet the requirements. And just because they endorse me, it's not like they're going to bend their roles, policies, or anything, But, I do have a reputation to protect in my legacy. My name's Joshua David Van Horn. I put everything out there, my home address, everything besides my socials out there, So, I don't want anything negative out there, I'm a fearful person, do things right, and, good karma, what goes around comes around. So at the end of the day, I do have a data furnishing license with Equifax and Credit Safe to protect as well. So there's no shady business going on with me. I'm not going to do these, let's get two of these accounts and then use two different email addresses and then get these two trade lines and like do manipulations and stuff. Some of the things aren't necessarily like anything wrong with it, but it's just like, why waste the energy? Put the energy into going after real solid accounts that you can actually use. It will pay off soon. And you only need to get one major account. Once you get that financial account and it starts reporting and it's a high limit, it's like a domino effect. You'll start getting all the other approvals, all the other high limit approvals after that. That's pretty much guaranteed. It's just getting over that foundation, get that initial stage foundation. You pour the cement and then you put the walls up, the roof is the height limits, let me see what else here. Okay, you guys, one more thing I want to cover. I didn't realize it's over 2 hours, and I didn't even get half of what I wanted to cover. So I'm going to chop up this replay so it's easier for you guys to watch again later. I'll put all the Sam's Club part that I'm talking about in one video, break it up into little mini series, and I'll probably release it tomorrow sometime. But I'll try to do another live tomorrow. But I'm definitely having other videos released tomorrow as well that you guys would be probably interested in normal content. And Dane Company, yeah, I would love to keep going, but as you guys probably notice, I'm moving around a lot. Like I keep doing that. I need to get my dopamine agonist, my levodopa and carbidopa. I need to take that, and I need to take it with like some bread. But I'll be fine after like 15 minutes. It's just the tremors are coming on my legs. But I came on here late too. It'd be best if I came on here like at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. but I want to make it more structured for you guys, so I'm not bouncing all over the place. That's why all of you guys, it doesn't matter if you're my student or not my student or a potential mentorship student, or you want a free phone consultation to see if you'd qualify for my business credit mentorship or not. You can just text me 937-423-9954. And then if you watched all this video, I'll give you an extra discount like I mentioned. But I want you guys all to send me an email, support@joshvanhorn.com. I'll put it here because for you guys hanging out so long, watching all this, hearing me ramble, I want to give you guys something of value to take away from this. So just email me and just say whatever. You can just say, Josh, send me the PDF file, or like the PDF structure file. So what I'll do is I'll put together what I went over tonight and what I did not get a chance to cover as well. But it will be basically like a little blueprint along with the links and the like discount codes. You don't have to do these things, but it's just like maybe a little ebook that I'm going to put together, and I'll send it by tomorrow to anybody that emails me. It's just free resource. I don't want anything for it. Hopefully that doesn't end up on somebody else's YouTube channel and being sold for like $99. Like some of these channels take my content that I give away for free, and then they sell it on Facebook and YouTube for like $50, like an ebook or something. Hopefully they don't do that. But this is just oh yeah, they've done that, Game Master, many times. I've caught a couple channels doing that. I'll start calling out some of these channels too if they just keep doing these things. It's nonsense, And you guys would be surprised. I just don't want to. I'm a big believer in what goes around comes around, but everybody has a kind of a breaking point. But you guys would be surprised. There's some very big channels that just rip off everything, next, I'll give you let me pull it here real quick while I'm at it. Good thing you reminded me there, because that's the one thing I probably wouldn't have included in the PDF file, because you're the only one that asked about it. Hang on, let me check it real quick here. I have a list of all the links. But anybody just tuning in while I'm getting this, just to be clear, anybody that has signed up for Dash Office Supply, cancel if there's any like fees involved or whatever, cancel and close the account and send an email to like their email, info@dashofficesupply.com, and a written like notice, tell them that you would like to cancel your account and that you are basically giving them a notice to no longer be charged. In fact, I'll actually put that included. I'll make a little template that you guys can send. I'll put that in the PDF file too. So it'll be just basically like a whole bunch of different things for you guys to read and stuff. But it'll be a lot quicker for you guys to read that than listening to me for 2 hours. You guys can probably read it all in 10 minutes, what I'll put together. Where is this at here? 1 second. I just had it here. What's it saying? I don't have it here. One second, guys, almost. Sorry, guys. I'm just going through this to just double check because I had a couple of different links and I want to make sure you guys aren't using a link that is no good. Oh, you know why? Actually, yeah, that's why. I'm sitting there like wondering why I can't find the Nextiva link. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's because you need to call my rep directly. Oh no, I found it. But I mean, you're gonna have to talk to them on the phone because you can't just sign up online. You can sign up for like the initial, but they need to get on the phone with you and actually send you like a DocuSign to create the account. Like it's a professional business. Okay, there's the link. Creditjosh.link/business line phone. Yeah, if you look up about Nextiva, they're way bigger than Vonage, but Vonage is more of home phone service, like for consumer, even though they do have business, but they didn't always have the business part. Because I used to be using Vonage back in like 20 years ago, but they actually switched from Vonage to Nextiva. Yeah, actually, like it's crazy is like AT&T, even though they're a phone company, right? They actually work with Nextiva for like their call centers. A lot of like calls that go into like Philippines where I'm at, like American Express. A lot of these are going through Nextiva lines. They're the strongest and most powerful. I mean, if you just see they're so robust, they have enterprise. Like they probably have customers paying them $100,000 a month for service. Oh, the Dane company. That's how much Vonage charges a month. 360 for. Is there many lines included with? Imagine like 10 or 12 lines, or no? 360. That's crazy. That's what I used to pay though. Like 300 for 2 lines with Nextiva back in like 10, 12 years ago. Because I signed up with them like 2007 from Vonage, and they were very expensive. It's like 140, 160 per line, and then they charge like $5, $10 for caller ID, and then voicemail box for each extension. But back then, there was only Vonage and Nextiva that you could use. Really, there wasn't that many options for the voice over IP. Everyone was still using analog lines. Now landline analog lines are like nearly obsolete. Uh, but there are some companies that still charge a lot. But I would say Nextiva probably owns like 70% of the whole US market for business phone lines for voice over IP. They're a massive company. I mean, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, but they know they had to be competitive to grow like that. That's why they had to lower their prices. So if you use my line, or if you use my link, you're gonna only talk to Steven is his name. That's where it's going to be routed to, is my rep Steven. And then you just tell him Josh, you get business credit, sent you, but he should probably already know that. But then he's going to get you, it's not a huge savings, but the first month free. And then he'll give you like a custom quote that will be, if you do month to month, then he'll give you like $7 to $8 discount. That's just if you're doing one line. But if you're doing like, he can give you a free phone if you do like a 1-year contract, like an actual, like landing, like I don't have it here. I just moved my studio from Cebu to Manila condo. I think it's out there. But I actually have an old Panasonic cordless phone I still use, But they can give you an actual like landline type phone, but it's voice over IP and can use for Wi-Fi. And then nowadays you really don't need it because you can just download the Next OS app, and it's Samsung or Android, but it's called Next OS app. And you can control everything. You can change the caller ID and call recording. You can even do SMS text messaging. Mosquito. But anyways, I hate to ramble. I can't believe there's still like 20 people here. I think this is like one of the longest, not the longest live, but one of the latest lives and one of the busiest lives, because at one point in time there was like 60 some people in, but it kind of stayed around like 45 for bulk of the night. But yeah, there's tons of features in there. Like it gets confusing when you go on the web portal of Nextio. There's like, it's all included. It's only like $25 to $40 a month, depending on if you do it 1 year versus a 1 year contract or a month to month. There's different deals, that he can give you. Your business credit improved when you're getting a random text. Yeah, but don't stay away from people that contact you about business credit funding, because that's them putting, just like personal credit. Once you opt into like SageStream, LexisNexis, you get into like opt in for pre-approval credit card offers, So it's like the same thing with business credit and LexisNexis, and like experience on your business credit data. Equifaxes, they're all trading it and selling it and stuff. That's why business credit's not federally regulated. So then you're going to get all these, it's like your information's being sold. And unfortunately, on the business side, you can't do nothing about it. On the personal side, you can. Like you can do lawsuits and stuff. And do the do not call government thing, But on the business side, it's not federally regulated, and they don't have to go around the same type of compliance. So then, like, your information's being sold and being bought by like Fundera, and then they're just a broker, and then they, reselling your data. It's just kind of nonsense, That's why, like, the ones that I promote, that's like National Business Capital or Loan Spark, they are either one the direct underwriter, or they deal with 75 different lenders. Like they're the middleman, so you don't have to deal with that headache. Because if any of you guys ever experienced this before, where like you even do a car insurance application or a car insurance quote online years ago, you hit the submit button, and then all of a sudden you get like 20 calls, from car dealerships, and they're trying to get your business. And it's like you barely got it from the chair, and you already have people calling you. It's like they were just waiting by the phone, like, oh, I'm going to call this guy. He just hit submit. It's like ridiculous. But yeah, they just, yeah, it's a bit nonsense. How they do the spamming, but they're all offering the same product. It's all merchant cash advances that are crappy, that are just going to get you more behind on business credit, and then get a UCC filing on your business credit. Those aren't necessarily derogatory, but they're also not helpful if you're trying to get serious funding. There's just too many other options. That's why I like to do the fintech lines, because the fintech lines won't get you any UCC filings as long as you're current with them, of course. But if we say, like a lot of my students that we get approved for the fintech lines, You get like 4 high limit fintech lines. Okay, you use 2 of them for the working capital, right? Instead of going and taking a merchant cash advance, you use the fintech lines, even if they're net 20 or net 30 or net 60 flex lines, it's fine. And then you have the 2 buffer ones that you're going to liquidate those to pay the other 2 off. So then you're benefiting from the double reporting, and you're using one to pay another, and you just keep on doing that. And then it's just building up stronger and stronger business credit. And then you're never having to deal with financing fees too much because it's very minimal because they make money off the interchange fee. And you're not having any UCC filings, and they don't have any liens against your property. You can just go buy a house and have the property free and clear. You don't need to get any inspections or anything. You don't need to tell underwriters more what you're going to do with the money. Like, don't overindulge information. It's none of their business, really. Yeah, the dang company, you're right. Most of those merchant cash advance business lines, they don't report. The only ones that do report are the one, I mean, they all report if you don't pay them, of course, derogatory. But yeah, they don't really help you build business credit up. And sometimes they can actually hurt if you do multiple of them and you're saying Moody's or Contora or PayNet, then that's the database that holds that merchant cash events data. And then it can be used against you to get other funding. That's why I really don't like a lot of my students to get merchant cash advances. There's a place for them for certain, like say e-commerce. It's okay. Buy if you can flip it quickly, it's just it's just like hard money lending. Hard money lending for real estate's fine as long as it's a short-term deal. Get in and get out, don't hold it long because you borrow 100,000 on a merchant cash advance and say it's a payback for 3 or 6 months. You're likely, I don't care how good your business credit or what personal credit is, you're probably still paying like 130 to 155,000, somewhere in that ballpark, depending on which one you're paying. They say it's only like 7 points, but it really comes down to being like 30 to 50% of what you're paying. You mean Wave County? You mean for the checking account or their credit lines? Well, obviously the credit lines, I would say you're assuming. They report to the Small Business Financial Exchange and Experian, but they don't report to Equifax or CreditSafe or Dun & Bradstreet. But that's standard. Almost all financial institutions only report to Experian or Financial Business Exchange. But yeah, I can confirm that 100% they do report to Experian and Small Business Financial Exchange. But yeah, definitely use my link because then you're not going to have to pay that maintenance fee or whatever. And I think you get like 30 ATMs per month included, and you can get like a rebate of like, they'll charge you like $2, like the ATM. The network ATM will charge like $2 or something, if you use an ATM or a debit card. But then Blue Vine will give you back like $30 a month, up to $30 or something like that. But yeah, I'll make another dedicated video going over Blue Vine tomorrow. That's just going to be explaining the benefits about the checking account and what the short to long-term play is with Blue Vine, why I think everybody should have it. I don't care if you're new or established business. I think every business could use a $5,000 to $150,000 working capital line that's not going to get a UCC filing. And that's kind of a creative type financing that they offer. They have like 6 different programs, but they have one that's very creative. That's not going to have anything that's like, it's good. I'm not saying you can all qualify for it, but it's something to work towards, you know? So anyways, it's been like 2.5 hours. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you guys can please give the video a thumbs up, so the replay, even though I really don't want people watching the replay because I was all over the place. But that's why I'm going to break it down and structure it better and release like mini videos. I think I'll probably would get like 4 videos out of 2.5 hours. Like I'll cut out some of the rambling nonsense. But yeah. But let me see here if there's anything. I had other notes here that I wanted to go over, but no, it's too much. I don't want to open another can of worms. I have another trade line I wanted to talk about that's fairly new that reports to Experian and Dun and Bradstreet, but I don't care about Dun and Bradstreet, but it reports to Experian and it's fairly new. And I have firsthand experience with it, but maybe I should put that in a whole nother video because it's kind of a complex with some AI and stuff. They have the tools and stuff. It's like similar to that company GrowG that I've been kind of having some of my students sign up for. It's like that, but it's other things too, like the physical products, electronics. And then I have some news also about Samsung and Lenovo business credit lines, because you know Dell Business Web Bank, underwritten by Web Bank, the Dell Business Credit Line, that they discontinued that, but then Samsung Business Credit Line you can get, and then directly from Samsung, and then Lenovo. So there's a couple of electronic trade lines that recently changed underwriters as well. So I want to touch topics on that, but I had it written down here on my laptop to cover tonight, but I just didn't get to it. And I know that would probably take me another hour to go over those electronic trade lines. They report to Experian and Dun & Bradstreet. So anyways, you guys please give the video a thumbs up. Anybody that is interested in my one-on-one business credit mentorship, text me now. Although I won't be able to do a consultation tonight because it's getting so late. But just text me tonight, so then it will go in the order it's been received. I literally already got 17 since we've been on the live. I've had 17 new texts come in about wanting to do a phone consultation for the mentorship. So anybody just text me if you're interested in the mentorship consultation, see if you qualify. If you're not interested in the mentorship, it's fine. It's not for everybody, but I would say encourage you to just email me support@joshvanhorn.com, and by tomorrow I'll send you guys that free no strings attached. It's just basically what we went about over tonight, but it's just structured in the email with the links, and then there's like coupon code, promo codes to save you guys some money as well for like the Experian annual plan and a Grasshopper and others, you know. So, and then you can just review it, and then it's up to you if you want to use any of those resources or not. It's completely optional. Anyways, you guys stay tuned for the videos that I will drop tomorrow. They're the electronic trade lines and the in-depth Blue Vine business checking and the 6 different business credit lines that they offer. I'll go touch on those as well. But yeah, as you guys go out, please just give the video a thumbs up. And then one other thing, if you guys can do, as soon as I end the live, can you go back to the replay and go in the actual comment section and just give me your honest feedback about the live? I'd really appreciate it. I can only improve my lives if I get the feedback. and I can't see the feedback once we end the live. All these live chat, it goes away, it disappears. So as soon as I end, please go back to the replay and just make a comment, please. It would actually help the YouTube algorithm as well. But I'll try to be back tomorrow and drop another live, but I'll do it earlier. But during the afternoon, I definitely have like 3 or 4 videos dropping that we discussed. Anyways, with all that being said, you guys take care. I appreciate each and every one of you guys and your patience. Until next time, you guys take care. Again, thanks for staying up. Bye-bye.